Hey, what's going on, guys? Drone V here. Hope you all are doing good today. I've got a special video planned, and I think this is one that most people have been wanting. This is one I've been wanting to make for a while. This is tips and tricks for growing as a free-to-play player or as somebody who doesn't spend a lot of money. We want to compete with the big guys, and we don't want to drop tons of money doing it. This is everything that I've been able to think of all in one video for you guys that we can use to get as strong as possible. Because I know there's a hashtag going around, hashtag bubble life, and I can sympathize with that because it does feel like we're under bubble constantly. So hopefully using the stuff in this video, we can get out of a bubble for, at least a little bit of time, hopefully. Let's not be bubbled permanently. Hashtag bubble life. Hashtag devs help us out. So anyways, let's do this. There's three main components for growing in this game. That three things that are going to help you more than anything else. The three things are hero MP, like using your hero's MP as effectively as possible, getting as much MP as you possibly can, and getting your MP cost down too. There's ways to reduce the cost per attack on monsters. So we're going to dive into all that. It's super important using your MP as wisely as you can. Like that's how most people get most of their materials and most of their growth in the game comes through their hero's MP. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about doing the events because people underestimate how good the events are. Their events are really good these days. Remember like last year when we had no events? There's like no events to do. And there's no reason to do the events. There's actually a reason to do the events these days. They're really good. So we'll talk about the events. And the third thing is really what I find the most enjoyable about this game, and that's the empire planning. It's the resource management, the strategy that goes into growing and positioning your empire to grow into the future. And it's taken me forever to figure a lot of this out. So we're going to dive into that. I guess we'll start with the hero MP. And yeah, because there's a lot of things that go into your hero MP. Like there's a lot of different components to this. So the first thing is obviously getting as much MP as you possibly can. It's going to help you out. So that means having the right gear and the right gems. The right gear for MP recovery is the gold dread mist. It's the best right now for MP recovery. Keeping that equipped, that'll give you 90% on the accessories. Plus, the body armor has the MP recovery too. I need to get the gold for that. This is my farm account. This isn't my main account. So yeah, this is just a farm account I'm using for this video. And that's big. But what's even more important than the Dread Mist is getting the Paragon Nightmare Gems. These little pink gems here are going to be, that's where most of the strong people get most of their MP recovery. So for that, you're going to need all the Paragon gem slots unlocked. Now, I wouldn't spend money to unlock them. I would just be patient. If you don't have them unlocked, as soon as an event comes out that drops crafting and gem scrolls, hop on that event. That's going to be super important. For getting these Paragon Nightmare Gems, there's really two ways. There's Bandit Empires, and then there's Jewel Mine expansions. Now, the downside of Jewel Mine expansions is jewel mines are really worthless except for the Paragon Nightmare Gems they drop. They don't have very good buffs compared to the other expansions, and all the other gems, it doesn't drop enough of them. So you're really just getting the jewel mines for the Paragon Nightmare Gems. But if you don't have higher, like if your Paragon Nightmare Gem slots, or if your Paragon Nightmare Gems are below level 5, you can make a pretty good case for building jewel mines because you need to get them to 7 and above. That's going to be so important for growing into the future. Even if you sacrifice for the next month or two in expansion, you're not going to get the essence if you're building jewel mines, and you're not going to get the good empire buffs, but it's worth it long term. That or just wait for bandit invasion. Both are viable. The problem is we went almost a year without bandit empires, like 6 months. That's a long time to wait for Paragon Nightmare Gems. So that's one of the things you got to think about for strategy planning into the future. Do you take the temporary sacrifice, and have them? Or do you just wait for bandit invasion or hopefully something else to get these gems in the future? So, but anyways, MP recovery is super important, maybe the most important thing in the game. So if you can keep your Dread Mist accessories on, keep your Paragon Nightmare gems, keep them on your gear that you have active most of the time, it's going to be so important. Now, you might have to bubble. Like, and I hate, this drives me crazy. Hashtag bubble life or hashtag keep your hero in rally. And if those of you who don't know this, this is really important, is to rally your hero. If you don't have bubbles and you don't want to use loyalty for bubbles, there is a way to keep your hero from being captured. And as long as your hero isn't captured, his MP is going to be regenerating until his MP bar is full. So to do this, you set an 8-hour rally and include your hero, boom, march, and your hero can't be captured as long as that rally is, as long as he's in this rally, he can't be captured. So then next time you're online, you can just cancel the rally here. Actually, there's going to be a little march icon here, boot icon here. Hit that, cancel it, and your hero, he's going to be right there. His MP is going to be built up from when you last saw him. That's a good way, because making sure your MP bar is always regenerating, that's going to be pretty important. What I do is I let my MP bar regenerate till it hits max. Once it's maxed, I switch to another hero. I switch to a hero that doesn't have that MP bar filled yet, and then I let that bar fill up. Boom. Once it's maxed again, I switch to the next hero, and that's how I do it, because keeping that MP bar always regenerating, it's going to be more MP for the future. And I use these bars, I use all my heroes as sort of a store of MP. I call it an MP storage. Like each hero, if you can store up 99,000 and then keep that MP bar full until a really good event comes up. So yeah, so that's what I do. I make sure all my heroes bars fill up and wait for the good events. Now, once all my heroes MP is full, so let's say 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000 on all of them, then I will attack with one of the heroes, just so their bar, I can use their MP on just attacking a normal monster or whatever the best monster around is at the time, just so that MP is still regenerating, so I can keep using that MP in the future. So that's what I do. Hopefully I said that in a way that wasn't too wordy and pointless. But yeah, so having the right gear on, the Dread Mist gear most of the time, having the MP recovery gems, that's going to be big. Switching your heroes when the MP bar gets full. The other thing you can do is, and this is pretty big, is leveling up your heroes at the right time. Don't just level up your hero whenever. And whatever you do, when you level up your hero, don't skip levels. Use every level, because every time that hero levels up, you get a full MP bar and a full MP recovery. Like it, you'll max out your MP here every time you level him up or her up. So before you level it up, there's a trick you can do, is put on your best max MP gear. Whatever gear will give you the most MP, equip that before you level up your hero. That'll give you more MP, more, that's more attacks on realm bosses. That's huge. And the other thing too, I kind of mentioned this, don't level up your hero just whenever you can. Wait to the most opportune moment to level up your hero. Wait for the best realm boss. Wait for the best Moogle invasion. Just be patient. Now, one thing I've almost got to the point where I don't even level up my heroes anymore. Unless, like, I've been waiting for a couple months now on my main account to level up my heroes, because I know in the future there's going to be better realm bosses than there are today. I know in the future there's going to be better Moogle monster invasions in the future. And if I'm saving up my hero XP, if I'm saving up my hero medals for when the best moment comes, you're going to be able to get the biggest jump in advantage on your opponents. So yeah, I wouldn't just level up your hero as soon as you can. It might be tempting because you want the mastery skills, you want the limit breaks. There is a point where maybe you say, okay, this is a good time to level up my hero. And a good time is right now for my realm anyway, for server 1 and server 2. I guess we can go ahead and show you guys. We have a new Moogle monster. It is the Mind Slayer. Not to be confused with the Mind Flayer, Uh, it's the Mind Slayer. And we got a couple new things in this Moogle market. Exalted Empire expansion blueprints. Pretty costly, but they're here. And we know the Exalted expansions are awesome. Getting those wells to 21 plus, huge. So it's maybe worth thinking about. Uh, what else do we have? We have something else new here. Oh, they decreased the cost for Ifrit empowerment sigils. They're now really cheap. So I'm probably going to max out my Ifrit, get them to 100. We also have, and I'm pretty pumped about this, we've got Shadow Shields. Now, each Shadow Shield, if you have Arania leveled up, and you have her active when you train the Shadow Guardians, each 50,000, each lot here will give you 291 Guardians. So, 142 trophies or Mind Flayer sigils, whatever they're called. Yeah, trophies. 142 trophies for 291 Guardians. It's not too bad. You can do, that's pretty decent, actually. These Shadow Guardians are super important. So we'll dive more into this, but yeah, what else we got in here? Oh, also new, and I can't believe they dropped this on us, is the Iris medals. And I think if you have Iris unlocked, you should probably be using almost all your trophies on Iris medals because Iris is so good. If you don't have Iris these days, you're sort of in the hashtag bubble life situation. But yeah, there are Iris medals. Did I skip over them? They're here somewhere. Here they are. Regal Iris medals. It looks costly, but man, every time you level up Iris, it's the buffs you get are so good. So I'm going to be unlocking as many of these as I can. Probably try to get my Iris up as much as humanly possible. But this is somewhat in the, so much of when you use your MP is back to that. It's pretty darn important. When you level up your heroes is really important. I would wait for good events like this, good Moogle monster invasions to level up your heroes. And it also makes sense to level up your hero when, right now, if I'm leveling up my hero, I get the trophies, right? And then I can use those trophies to get more XP to where I can keep leveling up my hero and keep getting free stuff out of it. So it's something to think about. Usually that's what I do. I get all the hero XP. And once I max out all these, then I move on to, getting the right medals, getting whatever the next best things are in these Moogle markets and Moogle, whatever, Moogle invasion we have going on at the time. So yeah, so leveling up your hero is so important. And don't skip levels. I know it's so tempting. You're going to be sitting, if have fresh heroes, you're going to be sitting in a position like me here, where I've got a lot of lower level heroes. But the problem is getting XP for them, right? Because right now, I've only got billion lots of XP. You don't get enough of these smaller amounts to add up, right? So I'm in the position, if I use a billion XP here, I'm going to skip 10 levels. And you really don't want to do that because that's a million MP you're missing out on when you're skipping levels, right? You don't want to miss out on something so valuable. So what I do in these situations like this is I come over here and I convert gold into hero XP. And to do that, you just build up farms or whatever one you want. You build it up, level it up to 40, and then deconstruct it, level it up to 40, deconstruct it. You're basically converting, gold into hero XP. And you get 20 million hero XP when you leveled up to 40, something like that. Maybe not quite. Maybe it's 10 million, but it's kind of slow. That brings me to the next thing that I think is pretty darn important, is using macros. And let's see if I can find it here, is using macros. So I use Nox Player on my computer, and on Nox Player, there's this button right here. You can see it's this mouse with the dots, macro recorder. And I use this thing all the time because it allows me to be away from the game and to still be playing the game somewhat. So for instance, hit the play icon here and do whatever repetitive motion you want to do. For me, it's instant upgrade this farm. Hit stop. Hit this little, whatever that symbol is, loop until stop button's pressed, save, hit play, and it's just going to level up this building, right? Like that's what it's going to do. It's going to do that same series of clicks, keep leveling it up. And yeah, I can walk away for 5 minutes, come back, and my hero will have more XP. And then I'll bomb that, deconstruct it, and then keep doing that over and over to get the hero XP. And this is one trick I use for the events too. And I guess now is a good time to talk about the events and how to get the most out of the events. The first thing, if you see a training event, do it. There's no reason to not do the training events. They're so valuable. And you can use these macros on the training events for training troops. And what I do is I train level 5 siege troops for all the training events that are power based. If they're power based, sometimes you have to train like level 7 troops to get get points in the event, but lately they've been all power based. And what I do is I train level 5 siege. I instant train it because level 5 siege gives you more power than the other normal troops. So you get 15 power for siege compared to the 10 or 12 power for cavalry troops, 10 power. So 50% more power. And yeah, you're gonna have to do way less instant training to hit that tier 3, tier 4 in the training events. And I always use level 5 troops because it only costs gold to train them. And you can basically turn gold into points in the events. You can get good chests. You can get all kinds of stuff doing this. So that's what I do. Instant train level 5 and hit the events with that. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely do siege because it's going to save you way more time if you're using siege rather than the normal troops. Also, another trick for the events, and this is also one thing that I've spent a long time thinking about, and I think I've come to the conclusion that whatever it takes, it's pretty much worth doing to ascend your empire. So see, right now I'm sitting at Citadel 70. I should do whatever I can to get to 71. And the reason that is because the events start dropping way better materials, better speed ups, better resources once you hit that next ascension. And you always ascend at 61, you ascend at 51, you ascend at Citadel 71, you ascend, and then at 81, you ascend. And what that ascension means is that you're now using a higher grade resource, a higher grade blueprint, and a higher grade speed up to level up your buildings past that point. So that's and when you ascend, where I was going with that is, see here, it's only dropping elite resources and elite speed ups and below. Once I hit Citadel 71, it's going to start dropping majestic along with the elite. So you get better resources, more resources, and there's the higher grade resource that you're going to need in the future to keep going forward. So if you're nearing ascension, I would do what you can to ascend because it's going to give you better resources in the long run. So I wouldn't sit at like 59 forever or at 69. I would try to get to 61 or 71 or 81. Do whatever you can. So that's what I need to do on this account. I need to ascend to 71 before the events reset, because that's going to give me way more resources in the future. So I'm definitely going to do that. Now, one of the big questions is, how do I get blueprints? How do I get speed ups? And it can be a grind for speed ups. A lot of it's going to depend on where you're at. If you need, it's pretty easy to get things like exalted building blueprints and like the older building blueprint. The newer ones are kind of expensive. You can get them now in this Moogle event. And I think if you're sitting borderline that next ascension, it's not a very bad way to go. Like for me, now it's also not worth sacrificing too much to ascend. Like I wouldn't burn all your platinum to hit the ascension, even though it might be worth it. I said earlier, do whatever it takes, but maybe you shouldn't do whatever it takes. Maybe just like, if you're close and you can do it, do it. But yeah, that kind of goes backwards from what I was just saying. But anyways, here I am. So like for me, we'll talk about my account. I'm Citadel 70. To get to 71, I'm probably going to need 500,000 elite research or elite building blueprints. Now to get 500,000, I'm going to have to get, 30,000 trophies. Now with that 30,000 trophies, I could get a lot of iris metals. So you do have to do some math. Is it better to hit 71 or is it better to get iris metals? And I'm thinking right now it's better to get iris metals. But it also does mean that you do want to get elite blueprints as soon as you can, whenever you can. And how else do you get blueprints? Well, unfortunately, the best way is on the realm bosses. Some realm bosses drop elite blueprints. You can get some, from the events, like all the chests, the elite chests, they'll drop some blueprints, but it's pretty darn slow that way. Really, your best bet is to just be patient, which kind of stinks because you do want to get that ascend. You want to ascend as quickly as you can. Okay, so back to that. So ascending will give you that next grade resource, next grade speed up, which is going to be pretty important. But again, you don't want to go too far out of your way to ascend. You want to make sure you have some platinum, some gold on reserve, depending on how old your realm is. You want to make sure you can train troops when you need to train them, that sort of thing. So short of using up all your platinum, I would try to level up your buildings as much as you can. What I've come to do is, if I have the resources without having to use platinum and without having to use diamonds, I will upgrade it and then use my speed ups that I get from the events. And I try to stay on top of that, to where what's usually holding me back is the blueprint. And I think that's a pretty good way to grow. I wouldn't be sitting on resources, speed ups, and blueprints. I would wait until you're limited by one of those. I would just keep pushing until you either need speed ups, you either need blueprints, or you either need the resources. That's what I would do. Some other things that you might want to consider is maxing out your economic section. And I think this is pretty darn important it's going to save you a lot of resources for building resources, construction time, all that sort of thing. These are pretty important upgrades to have. So I would definitely try to max this section as much as you can, as often as you can. And I know there are some, there are exalted economic research tomes. Now I probably will even get some here. Let me make sure I'm right about that. Is it exalted or is it? It is exalted economic. So maybe you want to get enough of those to max out your economic research section. I think that's a pretty good thing to do because the higher grade resource gets really expensive, right? So if you can decrease that cost, that's going to help you out quite a bit. So moving on, another reason to do the events is you get, especially these mini events, these hour-long events that you have, you get two things here. You get three things here. That's really nice. You get the contracts, you get the tokens for whatever multi-day events going on, and you also get the gold, silver, and bronze adventures chests. And now what's so valuable about those, and a lot of people underestimate this, and I can't click, but a lot of people underestimate just how good the some of this Adventures Day research is. The big ones for me, Adventures research, not really Adventures Day, but the big one is the MP cost reduction. Getting this thing maxed, it's going to help you out a ton. At level 20, it's 10%. At level 30, I think it's 15% MP cost. So you can attack 15% more monsters if you level this thing up all the way. 15% more. That's a lot more Moogle tokens. That's a lot more Moogle trophies. That's a lot more Realm Boss stuff. So I would definitely do what you can to max that out. And that means doing the hour-long events every day, or every hour if you can. But of course, you don't want to waste your whole week doing those, but they are pretty valuable. The level up your hero event's a great one, especially if your heroes are pretty leveled up. Now this tier 3, it drops metals, and it can drop a lot of metals. Look at that, 1.2 million mythic Cindy metals. You're better off Like, yeah, I would do what you can to get this level up your hero event. I wouldn't actually level up your heroes unless it's a good time to level up your heroes. But if you're sitting at max MP, and like I was saying, you want to get all your heroes MP bars maxed during times where there aren't good monsters to attack. And once they're all maxed, then maybe that's a good time to use some of the MP and do this event. And to do this event, you can attack. What I usually do is I attack level 5 monsters, and I attack that same monster again and again and again until it's dead. And so you build up. If you keep attacking the same monster, you get a hero streak, and you start to really take out that monster quickly. And you only have to kill, what is it, 4? I guess 5 level. Yeah, I think it's 4 actually. No, it is 5. So if you kill 4 level 5 monsters and a level 2 monster, you get that tier 3. And I think it's worth it if you need medals, because I mean, look at that, 1.2 million mythic medals for Cindy. That's a pretty good thing to do. Now, how much MP does it take to kill 4 level 5 monsters? For me, it takes like 50,000. So it might take a little bit more for you if your gear's not powered way up. But if your gear's powered up and you can do it in like 50,000 hero MP, that's pretty good conversion. All 50,000 MP for 1.2 million mythic Cindy medals. That's pretty darn good. Now, you're better off doing that than you are buying Cindy medals here in the Moogle market. So, there is a time. I would definitely use your MP as wisely as you can, right? So, yeah, keep your MP bars full on all your heroes but one, and then that hero I use to keep attacking to where its MP bar keeps regenning. And in particular, I wait for events like that, or I wait for a good realm boss, things like that. So, and when the good realm boss comes, I then use all my heroes in MP. I switch hero, use all his MP, switch to the next, use all their MP, and then in times of no realm bosses and in times of no monsters to attack, that's when I regen those bars. And yeah. So, anyways, something to think about. Also, attacking a lot of the monsters is going to help you out in these event campaigns. So if you're really trying to hit that tier 3, that's another time that maybe you want to use your hero MP to get the trophy, get the Cindy tokens or whatever you need. And attacking level 1 monsters is the thing to do. So, hopefully you can get that tier 3 while a realm boss is there. But if the realm boss isn't there and you've got a day left, maybe it's worth using some of that MP to hit that tier 3 on the event, if the event's good. And to do that, I just find level 1 flans, like this one. And, for me, it's 854 on this account. On my other account, it's less than 700 something MP per attack. And I just attack it, as few times as I can until you hit that tier 3 in the event, or the tier 4, if you can do it. I would do the math first and say, okay, if I can do 100 attacks, is 100 trophies going to get me, or 100 tokens, whatever it is, going to get me to that next tier? If not, I would save your MP for a better event. So moving on, that's sort of so what have we talked about? We've talked about using your hero's MP as effectively as we can, and we've talked about how to make the most of the events, ascending your empire if you can. If you can't, no problem. Just do the day events, get the Adventures Day chests, all that sort of stuff. Do the hero events if you can. Another good one for getting the tier 3, tier 4 in this main event campaign is to do the guild hall events here. Now, some of them are pretty costly, like the Ignis one. You got to do quite a bit of runs to get that tier 3, but hey, I would do some of these if you need tokens. And some of the prices are actually not too bad. If you need Adventures Day chests, you get 5 on this one. So 5 of each, which is pretty nice. Not going to lie. Boom. Anyways, that's it for the events. Now let's talk about resource management, time management, what expansions, what buildings to build. Let's dive into that. So let's see, where should we even start here? I guess the first thing is trying not to lose your resources. And what that entails is keep your heroes from being captured. I think at all costs, it's probably, in today's day and age, it's probably the most important thing. Now, luckily, banishment times are way down. So if your hero is captured, you're going to get him back soon. But that is time that you can't be attacking with your hero. That's time your MP bar is not regenerating. So it's, it's pretty annoying to me to have my hero captured because MP is so valuable. Just getting an extra 50,000 is pretty important. So try to keep your hero from being captured. That's going to mean hashtag bubble life. It's going to mean, keeping the empire barriers on. It's going to mean keeping your hero in a rally when you're asleep or away. Unfortunately, we are at a stage in the game, sort of the meta of the game is nobody's really safe these days if you're not online. Like if you're offline, you can be zeroed pretty quickly unless you're going to sleep with your good gear on and your empire. If you're really strong, like then you're fine. But most people aren't strong enough that a couple rallies from a Prompto with a really high level Iris, so that Prompto is doing millions of attack damage. It's scary. It's scary, especially with rally sizes. As you level up into the upper 80s, you can get millions of rally capacity. So people have 10 million rally capacity. And if they're hitting you with level 7 fire warriors, 3 Ifrits, and a Prompto, and they can do it in 5 minutes, you could be zeroed really fast. So that means bubble as much as you can. It means keeping your hero on rally if you're away from the game. It's going to mean having a lot of hospital capacity to save your better troops. So getting your hospital capacity up is going to be pretty important. You get the Oracle buffs, get Luna's, what is that? The double Luna gift skill, the mastery skill for Luna. That's pretty big. I recommend building all hospital wards. And I think everybody probably should go full hospital ward. You can consider, I'm going to test building some banks, but I think all hospital wards is the way to go. Because you get two things. You get the HP, which the defender HP is as good as the troop attack. It's as good as the armor. Just get the HP. It's pretty valuable anyway. And you get that from the wards. You also get the hospital capacity with the wards. So that's two good things. Whereas with the barracks, you get troop Q, which is okay, and the troop attack, which is good. But I think I'd rather have the wards. And I think for defenders, it's better to have the wards because the bigger your hospital capacity, the better chance your guardians have to survive. The other thing too is, if you have your hospital pits way leveled up, your guardians are safe. Once you get your pits to 8, get it to 9, your mercenary capacity is going to be enough to save your guardians. But if you don't have your fighting pits that leveled, you're going to need a big hospital capacity to keep them from being killed when you're attacked. So another thing I would recommend everybody doing these days, or not everybody, but most people, like on this account, if I build 20 million troops, they're just going to be fodder for anybody who attacks me. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to build 1.563 million troops. And that way when I'm attacked, they're all going to the ward. I'm not going to lose unnecessary resources every time I'm attacked. And but that does mean I'm going to have to keep my hero on rally most of the time. Otherwise, if you only have 1.5 million troops, he's probably going to be captured. However, if you have 1.5 million Earth Elementals or something really strong, it's going to at least punish people when they attack you, and you're not going to lose anything when they attack you, except for maybe your hero if he's not rallied. So I think that's worth doing for everybody. Keeping a limited amount of troops when you're attacked, you're not losing unnecessary resources. And keeping your hero and your empire is super, super important. So I think those are the main things. Also worth talking about is what expansions to build. And there's a lot of debate on this, but I'm pretty much at the situation that I think there's really only a couple options, and those options are to build wells. And I think the end game is to build the wells. We're all going to want max wells at some point because the wells give you the best troop buffs. They give you the best materials, which is essence, to promote your normal troops into better troops. So both are awesome. And they level up to 30, whereas all the other buildings level much lower. So that is the end game. The other buildings that you could consider building as a free-to-play or as like a, playing for the long term you could go Moogle villages and jewel mines. Now, both have their downsides. For instance, they're not really going to help you out short run. Like, you're not going to get any good buffs from the village compared to the wells. It's going to be worse buffs. Same with the jewel mine. However, with the Moogle village, you get Moogle credits. And Moogle credits, I've seen hero unlocks in the Moogle village. I've seen tons of MP in the Moogle village. So there are a lot of good, or in the Moogle market, when you can use these Moogle credits. So this could be one of the most valuable expansions, but it's really worthless short run. Like if you're building this today, it's not going to help you out today, but it might help you out a month from now, a couple of months from now, and that might make it worth it. Let's just be real. So your options, in my mind, you can build the wells because that's the end game. You're going to want the good essence production. You're going to want the earth elementals, the good defending troops, the fire elementals for attack and everything. So that's in game. But Moogle villages could be pretty valuable. Get that hero unlock. I've seen all kinds of good unlocks in the Moogle market when you can use the credits, but they wait in between. So you can't constantly be using the credits. Like, only occasionally can you use your credits. And there's no guarantee that it's going to still be good stuff in the Moogle market in the future. So it's a little bit of a gamble, obviously. But hey, I could see building a couple of these and just playing around long run. Just wait until you can use those credits. And then as soon as you can use those credits or store up a couple 100,000 of the credits, then deconstruct the Moogle village and then build the wells. Not a bad thing to do, I think. Not bad. Jewel mine. The only reason to build the jewel mine is for the Paragon Nightmare Gems, which I guess I can close this macro recorder, but it's just for the Paragon Nightmare Gems. And it could totally be worth it if you don't have good Paragon Nightmare Gems yet. If you haven't attacked the Bandit Empires very much. But once you have level 7 Paragon Nightmare Gems, it's going to take a long time for those jewel mines to produce enough to get level 8 gems. So that could be a time, once you get to level 7, say, okay, the jewel mine's it's been worth it already. Now I'm going to deconstruct it and build the wells. Boom. Yeah, that's what I would do. So maybe you want to build these, store up some credits, store up the MP Nightmare Gems, then deconstruct them, then build the wells. Not a bad thing to do. Garrison's pretty valuable, actually. Not only is it going to keep your troops, it's going to keep your expansions from being attacked, though. That's another thing. Do you risk putting troops in the garrison? Because their troops in the garrisons are pretty much fodder. So you don't want to put good troops in the garrisons, because if somebody wants to kill them, they can kill them pretty easily. But I do think it's worth leveling up your garrisons, because as you level them up, you get the troop capacity. And troop capacity is pretty darn important late game. Like, if you can get 300 million troop capacity, you're going to deal way more damage to the attacker than if you have 50 million, right? Potentially 6 times more damage. So yeah, getting that troop capacity up is pretty key. But here's the other thing, is if you're free to play, you may not want to build all those troops, because all those troops might be fodder, especially if you're offline. If you're not online for 8 hours, it's so easy for somebody to come in and zero your account if you don't have your gear on, if you don't take the time to enchant your gear, all that kind of thing. Yeah, it's bubble life, man. It's real. But I think at least using these tactics, hopefully we can get to the point that when we unbubble and when we have our gear ready, hopefully we can be a good force. But it is, until they give Iris to everybody, everybody's somewhat attackable and somewhat vulnerable. So anyways, I think that's about it for this video. Hopefully I talked about, yeah, if I've missed anything that's going to really help out free-to-play players, leave a comment. Let me know what I forgot. I want to know everybody's advice, what all you guys think on how to grow as best and quickly as you can as a free-to-play. What should free-to-play players be doing most of the time? I want to hear that from you guys. Let me know in the comments. And especially let me know if I got anything wrong, because, I'm just a player of this game. Like I'm not like, I'm I'm not definitive knowledge on this game. I'm just a dude who plays the game, who makes videos. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully you guys have some better advice too in the comments. And that's it for now, guys. Take it easy and catch you next time.